Promoter Bob Arum didn't hold back when voicing his concerns about Canelo Alvarez's mindset heading into his much-anticipated showdown with Terence Crawford on September 12th. For Arum, the big question isn't just about who will win, it's about which version of Canelo will show up. Is it going to be the hungry, fiery Canelo who built his legacy with grit and relentless energy? Or will it be the version we've seen more recently, the one who looks more like a savvy businessman, collecting checks than a fighter willing to take real risks in the ring? Arum's worry isn't just idle talk. It's rooted in what he's seen over the past couple of years. The performances haven't been thrilling, the fire hasn't been obvious, and for a fighter who once brought intensity to every round, that change is impossible to ignore. And when you look at the numbers, it's not hard to see why Arum is sounding the alarm. Canelo is set to collect an eye-watering $150 million for this fight. Crawford, though not quite at that level, is still getting a whopping $50 million. Those are superstar paydays, the kind that make you question whether the fight is still about pride and legacy, or just a cash grab. Arum believes these massive paydays, especially for Canelo, have chipped away at the incentive to go all out in the ring. He's not fighting for future opportunities anymore. He's already made it. With every fight, his bank account grows exponentially, regardless of whether fans walk away satisfied or not. And that's the problem. In Arum's eyes, the danger here is that Canelo may no longer feel the pressure to entertain or even push himself competitively. It's like the urgency is gone. But the spotlight isn't just on Canelo. Crawford's performance in his last bout against Israel Madrimov didn't exactly inspire unshakable confidence either. Sure, he came away with the win and added another belt to his collection, becoming a 4-division world champion in the process. But if you watched that fight closely, you saw a version of Crawford that looked a little less sharp, a little more vulnerable. Madrimov gave him problems, and it wasn't the kind of dominant showing that fans have come to expect from Bud. It raises the question, if he struggled like that at 154 pounds, what happens when he's standing across from someone as big, strong, and experienced as Canelo at 168? Crawford didn't exactly go hunting for tough challenges at these heavier weights before, and now he's leaping into the deep end against a man who's lived there for years. That's why Arum believes both fighters have something to prove, not just to fans, but to themselves. He warns that if either one of them walks into that ring half-heartedly, this fight could end up being a massive disappointment. Fans are shelling out big money and expecting a clash between two of the sport's best, and rightfully so. This isn't a showcase or a tune-up, it's a main event. It's legacy-defining, and the fear is that if Canelo treats it like a routine paycheck and Crawford underdelivers again, what should be a historic night for boxing could turn into just another business transaction. Arum's frustration is palpable because he knows what the sport could lose: excitement, passion, and most importantly, trust from the fans who keep it alive. The frustration in Arum's voice stems from years of watching boxing shift from passion to profit. He's seen what happens when fighters start making generational wealth. Some lose that edge, and with Canelo, the evidence is hard to ignore. In recent fights, there's been a noticeable lack of urgency in his style. He's no longer pressing the action, taking risks, or chasing knockouts the way he once did. Instead, he's been content to cruise to decision wins, staying safe, protecting his legacy, and more importantly, his income. That change in approach has left many longtime fans disappointed, especially those who fell in love with the aggressive, come-forward Canelo that took on Floyd Mayweather and Gennady Golovkin in back-to-back wars. That fighter seems to be fading, replaced by a man who's more focused on managing his empire than battling in the trenches. What makes the situation more complicated is that Canelo's name still holds incredible weight in the sport. He's a global icon, and promoters, networks, and organizers know they'll make their money back the moment his name is announced on a fight poster. That kind of leverage is rare, and for someone like Turki Al-Sheikh, who's invested heavily in making big events in Saudi Arabia, the appeal of having a superstar like Canelo headline is worth every dollar, regardless of the quality of the fight. It's not about whether Canelo fights with fire anymore. It's about what he represents: status, scale, spectacle. But while that might work from a business standpoint, it doesn't sit well with purists like Arum, who still care about what happens inside the ropes. And that's why this Crawford fight matters so much. For all the doubts surrounding both men, it's still a matchup with real stakes. Crawford, even at 36 and possibly slipping, is no walk in the park. He's one of the smartest, most technically gifted boxers of this era, and if he brings his A-game, he could pose real problems for Canelo, especially if the Mexican champion comes in flat or disinterested. But that's a big if. Crawford is coming up from welterweight and has never fought anyone as physically imposing as Canelo. He's quick and crafty, yes, but he'll be giving up size and power. So, if both fighters show up just to go through the motions, the fight could quickly turn into a tactical stalemate, something that leaves fans disappointed and sponsors questioning whether the investment was worth it. From the outside looking in, it seems like Crawford still has that chip on his shoulder. He doesn't get the same mainstream respect as Canelo, and this could be his last chance to truly cement his legacy as one of the greatest ever. That hunger, if it's still burning, might be what carries him into this fight with more urgency and energy than his recent bout against Madrimov suggested. But even then, it won't matter unless Canelo meets him with the same intensity. Crawford can bring the fight, but if the man across from him is just there to collect a check and avoid damage, the whole thing falls apart. Fans don't tune in to watch two legends dance around each other. They come to see greatness tested, pushed, and, if necessary, broken. In the end, this bout is about more than belts or bragging rights. It's about legacy and love for the sport. Bob Arum's concerns aren't just the grumblings of a veteran promoter. They're the echoes of a boxing era where heart mattered more than contracts, and where fighters understood that every round, every exchange, was a chance to leave something behind that money couldn't buy: respect. The hope now is that both Canelo and Crawford realize that too, because for all the zeros on their paychecks, it's what they show in that ring that fans will remember.